All right. So the Rangers lose 4-3 to the Montreal Canadiens in a shootout in game 38 of the regular season. And I'm honestly not shocked with the way that this game went down not in terms of them, going into it. I didn't go into it thinking that the Rangers were going to lose, but when they were down 3-0, I got the vibe. They came back and I'm like, all right, maybe they'll end up winning, but the puck management tonight was just really really infuriating, like really infuriating to watch. And that's why I sound so like down right now, is because it made my eyes bleed. It quite frankly made my eyes bleed watching this team try to manage the puck in their own end, because it's just, I feel like a broken record here at this point with the sloppy breakout plays or attempts and just the sloppy puck management. And now we're in a 6 game stretch here where it's win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. We'll see what happens to follow, but you play a very strong Vancouver team who, did a very good job against the Devils. They almost ended up blowing the game, but they did a pretty good job against the Devils. That's not going to be an easy opponent to have to rebound from. But regardless, there's definitely things that you could like about this game in terms of the fact that they did even make it a close game, and the fact that the offense did end up showing up at one point in this game. Well, mostly the second line and as well the third line, which is definitely something that you could look at as a huge positive, is that the third line gave you some production, which is much needed because of the fact that how many times have I came on here and talked about how the second line's really the only one's producing and you're not getting production enough from the other three forward lines. Well, the third line gave you arguably better production at points in this game than the second line with the way that they were forechecking in this game. That's for sure. Like, I'm definitely not a Barclay Goodrow guy. He actually had like a decent game. Granted, it pissed me off and I wanted to pull my hair out watching him try to bury wide open opportunities at points. But Will Coley, he had a very good game playing on that line there. Johnny Brzezinski had himself an okay game. He was definitely, the lesser part of that line, but he drew a penalty late, which unfortunately the Rangers didn't capitalize on either. That's another thing that was kind of unfortunate, is that the Rangers had power play opportunities to really complete the comeback, and they had power play opportunities to win this game, and they just didn't capitalize on it at all. They didn't capitalize on their special teams at all, which just sucks. Because the power play has been a little shaky lately. And, they were in first place and they had well over 30% at one point on the power play. That was bound to come back down to earth, but I did not expect them to come back down, within the span of like a week here, like the past 3 games or so, where they kind of look just meh. Like they look meh, they look sloppy, and the power play is going to need to get going a bit. That's the least of my concerns. I think the power play is one of the strengths of this team, so I'm not too worried there. But the main thing that is the worry after this game is definitely the puck management, because this has just been a habit, it feels like now, for multiple games now. Like right off the rip, Miller had a bad play, led to a rush chance. Anderson got stopped on that. Bonino with a block shot that they couldn't end up breaking out after that. Montreal puts the pressure on, Quick made some saves, and just again, no puck support either in the breakouts too. Like you're just watching guys get in the board battles all by themselves, and Montreal would come away with the puck more times than not. Their forecheck was very strong early in the game. You give them credit there, but the Rangers had to be better in their own right along the boards, and it was just infuriating to watch. Miller with a bad pinch, and then Trocheck couldn't break the play up and gets flat-footed. So Slavkovsky tries to set up Caulfield on 2-on-1. That got broken up, though, by Miller, who ended up getting back. But little things like that, like Vinny Trocheck, why are you stepping up there in the neutral zone? You see an odd man rush is breaking and a rush chance is coming. Why are you stepping up in the neutral zone there? You're not going to make that play. You got to just sit back and you got to try to break the play up as the pass might come through, or break the shot up. I didn't like that play there, but that's just nitpicking there. And Trocheck's been good all year, so I'm not going to harp on that. But that play in particular was not really a good one. But the Rangers continued to get hem in their own end. Pizzetta almost buried one in front. That got kept away. Goalie, though, went off for a tripping penalty, so they end up getting a power play. Panarin with a good chance denied. Savard broke up a chance for Kreider to tap it in. The power play ends, but after that, Wheeler had a chance, missed the net on the rebound. So the Rangers had some chances there on the power play too. It's not like they didn't generate too many chances. That's the only thing I will say that is at least good. Like the Carolina game, they generated basically nothing, and they needed to get back to generating some chances. At least they showed some promise on the power play, but they still need to at some point start converting a little bit more on the power play. Again, I'm not expecting them to sustain 35%, 40% the remainder of the way through, but you want to see them, especially against Montreal, who doesn't have the strongest penalty kill, at least net one power play goal. And hey, it would have been the difference in this game. But Lafreniere with some good moves to get a chance. That got blocked, but good work behind the net from him. Lafreniere, that's another positive you could take away from the game. He was probably the best forward for the Rangers tonight in terms of his two-way play. It sucks that in the shootout, which we'll get to later, he couldn't end up, giving a better effort in terms of, a shot opportunity. But at least Lafreniere has been showing over the past few games that he has been really, really just a threat. He's been a threat, but the Rangers would make it one, or not the Rangers would make it 1-0. The Rangers would have a sloppy play, which made it 1-0. As Trocheck with a terrible breakout attempt goes by Artemi Panarin. Fox skates out of position and Gallagher gets a chance alone and snipes it. That makes it 1-0. So yeah, 1-0 in the first period for Montreal. Kreider got a chance after that got denied. The third line gets a good shift after the commercial break. The Rangers really started to press a bit. Coley was really, really good. Play unfortunately died there on Barclay Goodrow's stick as he does a no-look backhand pass that got broken up. But the third line, next shift, they go out there, have another good one. Coley gets some more chances yet again. Goodrow had a chance in front, couldn't bury it. The second line then follows it up with some good chances. And you're seeing those two get most of the ice time, and rightfully so. And we'll talk about ice time later on. There's definitely some things that were interesting. A certain guy getting benched later on in the game, and I'm a little confused as to why. But Lindgren got the puck taken away, and Caulfield got a chance in front, denied. Gustafsson with a bad breakout attempt. Montreal got some pressure, but at least he made up for it with a good defensive play. Just a sloppy first period, though, until that commercial break ended up happening. Not really a lot to love, not a lot to hate. At least they got some good opportunities in terms of scoring chances. But again, like the defensive play, just sloppy and too careless with their own in their own end. The second and third lines really the ones getting most of the offense. The fourth line not looking good enough. The first line not giving you enough. And they got hemmed in their own end, and they just needed to be a lot more careful with the puck. In the second period, they come out not looking great really at all, as it ended up being 2-0 as Goudreau couldn't clear the puck. Lindgren gets beat, and then Fox walks out of position. Monahan all alone in front scores quick. You could argue could have had that. He overskated it, but that made it 2-0, and then it would be 3-0 shortly after. After a failed breakout, leads to an extended shift for the Montreal Canadiens, and everyone was tired out there. Gustafsson, I don't know if he screened quick there, but quick, you could argue maybe should have got that, and Armia scores from the slot to make it 3-0, and you sensed something that was off, and you really got worried there because they kept turning the puck over in the offensive zone, in the neutral zone. Lafreniere had a good takeaway, which led to an extended shift, but the Rangers couldn't score. Lindgren then goes off for, or gets high stick, gets nothing called there. Kreider then gets called for hooking, though, right after. So I don't understand what happened there, but I'm not going to be pissed off with officiating from this game, but I don't understand that one. Quick with a big glove stop on Slavkovsky after a long power play shift. The rebound control, though, from Quick just looked very, very looked shaky. I felt like his rebound control was looking shaky, but that glove save on Slavkovsky was very good. Goudreau couldn't bury it on an open net chance that he had shorthanded, but Lafreniere got some chances in front, couldn't end up scoring there, and they would make it 3-1 though. The Rangers, the second line yet again with a very good shift as the forecheck kept going. Lafreniere to Panarin behind the net, up to Gustafsson along the boards. He fired one from the point, and Trocheck would deflect it 3-1. I'll be straight up, I felt really, really deflated. Still, even after this goal, I felt emotionless. But I was like, please prove me wrong. Please make me look stupid for feeling emotionless after that goal. I sat there with a straight face. I didn't even, usually I give a nice clap, or I'm like, yeah, I give a fist bump. But I had no emotion after that goal, unfortunately. And I know I'm just so down right now. I get that people are going to be annoyed by it. I just feel so down. Kreider hits the post, though. Miller with a bad play leads to an extended shift in the D zone. Thankfully, Montreal couldn't end up scoring. Bonino with a bad read in the neutral zone breaks up the chance on the back check, though, so at least he made up for it there. Coley with a chance alone in front. That got denied. Fox with a nice move for a chance. That got blocked, but the Rangers would make it 3-2 as Trocheck wins a draw over to Artemi Panarin, who buries it 5-hole. It looks like the Rangers were hunting to bury it 5-hole on Montembeault all night. There was a lot of chances where you saw them trying to go 5-hole on him. I don't know if that's a scouting report thing or what. You have to guess that it is, but they, that ended up going in. But there was a lot of times where they didn't really capitalize on the 5-hole. But Suzuki would hit a post afterwards. Lafreniere with a good back check. Then he sets up Panarin. His shot is gloved. Suzuki goes off for a high sticking penalty. Trocheck's chance in front from Mika poked away. Mika hits the post on a 1-T. Panarin with a shot. Nobody was in front to bury the rebound, and they couldn't score on the power play. But you got more offensive production, at least from the second period. But again, like I just felt like it was more the same of the first period, where the second and third line got the chances. The power play got some chances. The first and the fourth line, the 5v5. Really nothing going on. And then the D zone play, spotty again. And they just allowed a lot of pressure. And, I will say one thing, for as much as it annoyed me, the Rangers allowing so much pressure in their own end, Quick wasn't tested overly too much. He wasn't overly tested. Second period, he definitely got tested a good amount, but he wasn't like obnoxiously tested in this game for as bad as they were in their own end and sloppy they were with the puck. But still, I mean, again, you could see a way better effort from that. Third period rolls along, and this period, this one just kind of aggravated me. The Rangers came out with urgency. Like, they came out with urgency. Gustafsson with a chance denied. Then he got beat by Slavkovsky coming the other way, but he got denied there. The second line with a good shift. Miller fires high. Then there was a chance the other way for Montreal that they fired high on. Panarin turns the puck over right to Caulfield, who fires high. Then Kreider with a chance, and Matheson back checks to stop him. But the Rangers would tie the game up at 3 as Fox with a shot from the blue line ends up going in. I think it went off of someone on Montreal since it's still Fox's goal, but that made it 3-3. Hopefully this gets Adam Fox to start shooting more. He needs to be more of a shooting threat, especially on the power play. And that was his first goal since October. So he definitely needed something like that. And hopefully this gets him going, because they really, really need him to be more of a threat in terms of the offensive side of things, with him shooting the puck more. And I know he was injured for pretty much a month, but you still would have liked to have seen him score since he returned. And at least he did tonight. Lafreniere with a nice feed to Trocheck. He fired high. Terrible change leads to a chance by Anderson getting alone, and he ends up hitting the post. Brodzinski gets a chance and is hooked by a goalie, and the power play goes nowhere. That was pretty much the difference in the game. Again, they didn't capitalize there on their power play. Matheson hits the crossbar on a chance. Trouba with good work in front on Suzuki. VC then would turn the puck over, which led to Caulfield getting a one-timer chance. Stopped and continuing to turn it over. Lazy plays in the D zone by by pretty much the entire team out there. Montreal just kept the pressure. They kept getting chances. Quick was making stops. Quick makes a stop, a big one on Monahan at the doorstep, but just a terrible third. Like, you come out with urgency. They didn't get the best chances, but you come out with urgency, you get the tying goal, and their foot wasn't really on the gas offensively, in my opinion. I didn't like how they played offensively that period, and they sat way too much on their heels after they tied the game up. I'm a little puzzled as to why, but we go to overtime. Caulfield with a shot stop, a 3-on-2 for Montreal. Matheson gets stopped. Lafreniere has two chances to win it, two great opportunities to win it. Doesn't convert on either. Miller would go off for a holding the stick penalty, but the Rangers would actually get the better chance during that, as Mika with a slap, with a shot that got something, and Trouba had the slap shot on the rebound that got denied. But in overtime, pretty funny how Jimmy Vesey's getting reps out there, but the top line winger specialist Blake Wheeler doesn't get any minutes. And this is not me saying I'm advocating for him to get minutes in overtime, but why are the Rangers wasting their time with this experiment still? I just don't get it. And I'm sorry because I know there's some people that do like Blake Wheeler, but I don't see the appeal. I don't see why they're wasting time on this experiment still. Because like he's just not been effective as a first line winger. Could he maybe help the bottom six? Maybe, sure. But for a first line right winger, he's been awful. Like there's no way around it. And that first line needs to get more production going, and they need to help out because the second line pretty much did it on their own again. Thankfully, the third line chipped in a bit, but when are we going to see them close this experiment? And I get it that, you're in a tough spot. What do you do with Kaka when he comes back? Then where do you move Wheeler? But they need to get some sort of right wing help. They had Patrick Kane out there on the market, but they didn't want to clear the cap for him. And regardless, they're going to have to get a right winger, though, at the deadline because Blake Wheeler in the top six cannot continue. And even Laviolette knows it. He also benched Othman in this game, which I didn't like personally. Because don't get me wrong, Othman I didn't think had the best game, but like what warranted him being glued to the bench when Nick Bonino had a horrendous night? Like I don't understand that. That's the first time where I'm really questioning and scratching my head as to what Laviolette was thinking there. And that reeked of Gerard Gallant activity there where you go out and you just keep playing the veteran because he's the veteran, but the rookie gets glued to the bench because, he was on part of that line that wasn't producing. No, bench Bonino. He was awful tonight. Why did Brennan Othman get put in the Quinn bin, as we like to call it around here? Why did he get glued to the bench, though? Like, why was Othman the one instead of Nick Bonino, who has just been he just hasn't been good. He just has not been good at all. I don't understand that move at all. And it sucks that Edstrom's hurt because I would like to see him in the lineup still over Nick Bonino, who has just been, he just hasn't been good enough. You need to get an upgrade there too. And I appreciate that he blocked shots. I really do. And congratulations to him for blocking shots. But there's just so much slop along the way with his play. And they could do better at the 4C, in my opinion. They could do better at center, in my opinion. Even Goudreau playing the 4C might be a better option if you go out and get a third C until Hedl comes back. Maybe, who knows what happens there. But, it just sucks because the second line's giving you such good hockey. The second line is playing out of their damn mind. And it just feels like I'm a broken record where the offense around is just not giving enough support. Again, the third line is not to blame here, but, Lafreniere, great game from him, the best forward tonight. Panarin, another great game from him. Trocheck, great game from him. Will Coley probably has best game as a pro tonight. And your first line winger, Blake Wheeler, just in general, the first line at 5v5 needs to be a hell of a lot better. In the shootout, the Rangers didn't get a goal. Zibanejad tries to Peter Forsberg, got sticked. Lafreniere's attempt wasn't great. Panarin missed the net. And Caulfield was the only one to score. So I don't know. I'm just aggravated. I'm just aggravated because of the fact that, again, when are we going to start seeing production from the other lines? And, the good news is that you could start getting production because of the fact that they're going to make moves at the deadline, but it's just not sustainable. Like that's just what I'm getting at. It's just not sustainable. But in terms of things that need to be cleaned up, I mean, the puck management too. My goodness with the puck management. And yeah, I don't know. And then some guys on the blue line too just didn't give a good effort. I thought Fox, despite him scoring, and hopefully that goal gets him in the right direction, I didn't think he had a sharp night. I didn't think Lindgren had a sharp night either. Outside of that, though, I mean, you got okay play from Trouba. You got okay play from Schneider. Gustafsson wasn't bad. Miller was up and down throughout the game, but you got to get the main thing is you got to get better play from certain guys, and they got to clean up as a team in terms of their how they are with the puck. They got to be a little more careful. They got to be not a little more careful. They got to be a lot more careful. How many turnovers does it say they had on the NHL website or TSN, either or, whichever one? It says 17. Felt like a lot more. But yeah, um, uh, I felt like too. At certain points the forecheck was a little questionable. Not from the third line, the second line. It's again mostly like the first and the fourth line where you really didn't get good play there. But I digress. We move along and we hope that they could rebound against Vancouver on Monday. As tough as it's probably going to be. But before I jump further into the recap here, don't forget to leave a like on the post game show if you have not already. We have 40 viewers here in the chat. 12 likes. I would appreciate if you guys would leave a like if you have not already. Um, and subscribe if you haven't. We're on the road to 2K subs. And I appreciate everyone that's a member that sends super chats. All that's not required, but all of it is appreciated. Any kind of support, I do appreciate a ton. Yeah, let's get to the chat and see what you guys think. I had a lot to say, but curious to see what you guys have to say. I'm sorry that I went long on that tangent there, but it's hard not to. It was hard not to, but let's see. Robbie, once again, the Rangers played to the level of their competition left. He had a great game, but my frustration with him is that he does not finish. Yeah, I mean, you want to see him start to shoot the puck more and get more confidence there, but some of that's also his line mates not finishing his chances. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. If your first line is going to play horrible and be non-existent, they honestly have no business. And no business being in this game. Once again, it's pretty much the second line bailing this team out. Yeah, I mean, we feel like broken records here, don't we? We feel like broken records here, talking about the second line, and then I'm not saying the entire season they've been sloppy with the puck management, but like it's becoming more and more of a deficiency of this team as the games have been going along, which is definitely something that you don't want to see, because that's one of the most important things. Because if you play a team if they played a team that was more lethal with their offense, this could have been way more of a problematic of a game. This could have been way more problematic this game, but yeah. And Montembeault did make some big saves. Don't get me wrong. The Rangers did get some good chances, but you still needed a lot more from like your first, and I'm not expecting your fourth line to produce much, but they need to be a lot better than what they were in terms of just their play in general. Like the fourth line was invisible tonight, and when they were visible, it was for the wrong reason. So yeah, the Montreal goalie was the difference, but to me, if the Rangers have structure and actually hit and play in the neutral zone, they would have won. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. They need to get back to their roots of what they were doing in October and November. Like that's the thing that I've been preaching the most here. If you guys have been watching for the past month or so, is that they need to find a way, and they've shown flashes of it in certain points. Like they showed it in the LA game. They showed it. I'm trying to think of the other game. Like I can't think off the top of my head for whatever reason of some of the other games, but they've shown in some of these games that they are capable of playing good in the neutral zone and playing good in their own end. Against Boston, they put up at least like a decent effort too, but they're capable of it. It just, we need to start seeing it be consistent and be the habit and the identity of the team. That's the main point that I'm preaching here when they lose games and I get annoyed, is that I just want to see them like play to their strengths and play their identity. If you lose, okay, fine. At least you're sticking to your game plan and you're sticking to what your identity is, and more times than not it's going to work. More time, and sure, I get it, you have to adjust on the fly, and that just is the nature of the game. You're not going to be able to play your game plan and execute it every single night. It's impossible. Otherwise teams would either lose more than they should, or they would end up going undefeated because of how dominant it is. But you need to be able to play at least a little bit better in terms of the neutral zone playing. Like the blind passes, that's just something that's inexcusable. That's something that's inexcusable. Yeah, they played bad in their own end. NYR for life. This is getting concerning really quick too. Yeah, I mean, to each their own in terms of what your level of panic is. I'm not here to tell anyone how to feel. That's just not my thing. I'm just here to analyze what I watched and how I personally feel. That's just me. That it's my channel, so I'm giving my analysis. You guys are open to give your analysis as long as you're not, being obnoxious about how I feel, or just in terms of just a general. As long as you're not being obnoxious about your opinion, you're open to your opinion in the chat. I personally have my worries, and I don't blame anyone if they are getting at least a bit concerned or just concerned in general. I wouldn't go hitting the full panic button. If that's you, that's you. I'm not there to hit the full panic button yet, but I definitely am on the worried side in terms of, just some of the slop that's developing game after game after game here. And, the fact that in their past six, it's win, loss, win, loss, win, loss is definitely not ideal. Like, yeah, ideally they could go 500 and probably still make the playoffs the rest of the way, like in theory, but you don't want to actually do that. Like when we were saying that, we don't mean actually do it. So, yeah. Evan, I'll be honest, I've never seen so many turnovers in my life, and I've been watching hockey for 50 plus years. The other thing that bothers me so much is the constant reaching. Use your body. The Rangers have a really bad habit of stick checking when you were on the boards. Use your body. I completely agree with you. Like, they need to be better on the boards in terms of their play. And we're going to go over certain things with that type of play with the upcoming content that I have coming out. I have ideas for content that I want to release, and I'm going to release my deadline content. If you go back last year, I did a series of 4 videos where I did depth players for the Rangers to target. I did underrated players, defensemen, and big fish forwards for the Rangers to target at the trade deadline. We're going to be covering all of that and talking about guys that could help in terms of those areas of the game. But yeah, as a whole, though, they definitely need to be better with that. And, you can make all the deadline assets in the world. If you're not committed to being better with the puck in general, then you're going to have a hard time winning. So, team is starting to piss me off. Montembeault robbed us. Yeah, Montembeault played good, but, you still need more production from certain guys in the offense, in my opinion. That's just me. But yeah, credit to him. He did play a good game. I'm not taking anything away from that. I don't like that in the last 6 games, they're 3-3 win. Yeah, pretty much what I just went over. At least you didn't have the bullshit from the refs that the Devils did. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, I mean, officiating has been terrible this year in general, so not shocked. Rangers got goalied and didn't capitalize on numerous chances. Bad turnovers in key situations where they've been cycling in the offensive zone for long shifts. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, they'll get the sustained offense and, they don't generate chances off of it. They just make a bad pass and then turn it over. If we play like how we did on Monday against Vancouver, we will get destroyed, but maybe they'll show up ready to play and not wait till they're down 3-0. We don't know what effort we're going to get. Yeah, and like, that's the thing that aggravates me too, is like, that's another thing I've been preaching, that you don't know, it feels like, what you're going to get from this team because of the inconsistency. But yeah, I mean, if they play like this against Vancouver, they're going to get annihilated. Like, there's no way around it. And Vancouver's a better defensive team than Montreal. You already struggled to, get quality chances. Like, you look at their goals, the Rangers tonight, the Fox one, that's a very low danger chance. The Trocheck deflection was a solid one. You got traffic in front of the net. Nothing Montembeault could have done there. The Panarin goal was pretty good. You get a win off of the draw, but, they still could have generated probably a bit more, in my opinion. And if you don't do that against Vancouver, who's a better defensive team and they're better offensively, and you play like that against them, it's going to be a long night. So hopefully they could rebound and clean things up. But yeah. Wheeler needs to get off the top line. He's 10 steps behind, and it really shows against speedy offensive teams. Yeah. He can't play. He can't play. At least at like that level. He cannot be getting first line minutes, and I don't understand why he's getting first line minutes at his age regardless. Like, why are they running a guy like this into the ground who already has so much mileage on him and looks cooked to begin with? Why are we not just playing it smart here and sheltering his minutes? And I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, they need to get more scoring threats. Team does not finish. Do not get inside. Get me a player who wants to get his nose dirty. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna get into that more. We're gonna dive deeper into that. Laffy looks great, excellent puck control and sharp passing, but he shoots center mats all the time. Needs to hit corners. He should have 20 goals with his quality chances. That I could agree with. Truman Miller horrible on defense. I thought they were meh. I didn't love their game. I didn't despise it. I thought Lindgren and Fox were the worst pair tonight, but I could agree with that assessment. I could get the view. Yeah, Johnny B is trailing, needs to lift his game. Give me guys that play more below the goal line. Like I said, we're gonna talk more about that in future videos. I have a list already. I have the list of targets, and instead of top 5, we're gonna do top 7s this year in terms of the guys that they should target in each of those categories. Because of the fact that there's a lot of good options this year, and it was kind of hard to narrow it down to 5. And there's really a lot of underrated pickups I think that this team could make that, you know, fans might not recognize the name and they might be like, oh, this guy's not going to make that significant of an impact. But then when they visibly watch him play as a Ranger, as long as they stick to their game, they're going to be like, oh, wow, this guy's actually like, this guy is definitely better than, you know, we appreciate. And, you know, a good trade by Drury. So as long as, you know, they execute and get any of these players, it's a very long list. I would pray they'd get at least one. Some of them might be unrealistic, I'll admit it, in terms of like the big fish guys, but, you know, like the depth guys, and there's certain guys where it is more realistic. First line was a ghost, yeah. Team played sloppy. Don't understand the mindset of the team. Othman was really good last game. I didn't hear his name once. I heard it like once this game, and he got glued to the bench though. Kreider's on top left winger. I would tend to agree. I think he needs to be on the third line. Yeah, and first power play unit in PK. I agree, Logan. Yeah, I agree. Goudreau sucked. Like, don't get me wrong. I get on Goudreau a lot. I didn't think he had the worst night. And I'm one that's harsh on Goudreau, and I'm very critical of his game. So, you know, if anyone's gonna, if you should believe anyone to me when I say that, like, he had a decent night. I'm not gonna be like he said. I can't talk. I'm not gonna be here like he had a great night, but he had a decent night. It's just annoying that this guy gets opportunities to just like for tap-ins and he cannot bury it. That's the thing that annoys me to no end. Happy with the point, but the defensive lapses are alarming. Not winning 4 series like this. I agree. Agree, Steven. Team needs to be better at forechecking. I agree. Not sure what Panarin was doing on that shootout attempt. I don't know either. They always make that stupid extra pass down low, and when they have a chance to chance at the point to take a shot and go after a rebound. I feel like I'm on a delay here with my webcam. Is everything okay with that? I think maybe I'm overthinking. Regardless, though, yeah, I agree. And like stretch passes too are an issue. Miller needs to be mean and stop reaching. I agree. Othman only played 7-16. Why? Couldn't tell you. That you'd have to find out from Laviolette. I don't get it. I don't get it, especially when Nick Bonino and Blake Wheeler played the way they did. I don't understand. I don't. I'm not here to say Othman had a great game before that, but I don't know what we're doing here. Don't know what we're doing here. I don't normally talk deadline, but Wheeler needs to go. He's just out there getting his paycheck. I agree. He needs to go. Where'd you see that NYR for life? Calgary gets Kako, Schneider in a second. Rangers get Tanev, and I don't know who that Rizika guy is anyway, but I I don't know where you heard that from. You're gonna have to tell me in the chat if where you heard that from, because I haven't heard a word about anything like that, and I don't think the Rangers would make that type of trade. I think that's a huge overpay for Tanev, even though I want Tanev. Yeah, Edstrom's hurt week to week. Yeah, the turnovers were bad. I'd like to see the French toast line as their first line, Kreidsmaker, which are suck. Just being honest, yeah, they do. I mean, they basically are like the first line in a way. It's just like, in terms of when the lineup's being written by the media and just whatever, and they start sometimes with the first line. I don't know what to say. Regardless, so yeah, I would agree, but they need to break that lineup together. We got a lot of guys in chat here tonight. We got a lot going on. You guys are killing it. I appreciate it a lot. We're at 21 likes. Let's see if we can get to 50. They got goalie Artem starting to feel bad for a laugh. He's playing well, but not getting rewarded with as many points. I agree, but yeah, he needs to be better with shooting, and his line mates need to finish his chances. But I'm not gonna be here to blame the second line still. Like I'm far more infuriated with the rest of the forward group. I truly just, especially the first line, it's getting really annoying. Yeah, tonight felt like a Gallant coach game. And, I like Laviolette. I'm a Laviolette guy, but felt like that. And it's crazy, too, how we heard Keandre Miller before the game, how, oh, the preparation's different. This is the most prepared we feel going into a game with, this coaching staff. Well, where was the preparation tonight? I didn't see any of it. Are you talking about preparation H for your asshole? Because I don't know what preparation there was tonight. At least I didn't see preparation tonight. Like I said, unless you're talking about some ass cream for yourself, like we didn't need to know that. But I don't know what preparation there was tonight. That wasn't there. I'm just calling them the second line because by technicality they are. I just think Kreider and Zibanejad don't fit together. I get they're best friends, but we need to stop the garbage of keeping them together because they're friends. It's been a revolving door of right wingers since Zuccarello left. You had I don't want to go through the list because it's a long list, but we could go through it. We could go through it again if we really want. Here you go. Right wingers since Matt Zuccarello's departure, playing with Kreider and Zibanejad. Buchnevich, Blackwell, Rooney, Fost, Hunt, Blay, Vetrano, Kopp, Mott, Kane, Goudreau, Tarasenko, VC, Wheeler, Hedel, Kako, Lafreniere, Brzezinski, Nemestikov, Spooner. They have had that many different right wingers. And they let the guy that fit walk. Because Barclay Goudreau. Yay. Yay, Barclay Goudreau. I think they need more than two forward pieces, honestly. That's just me, Steven. Yeah, they have trouble controlling loose pucks, too. I don't think they could get Vetrano, but if he's possible, I would love that. I'm not I'm not a big Monahan guy still personally. That's just me. He did look good tonight, but I just have serious questions with his health. I really do. And I still am not like moved by Monahan. He's not one of the guys mentioned in the videos I have coming up. Just a spoiler alert. Yeah, the effort was lacking. Um, yeah, I don't think Eberle's happening either. Yeah, they need to start winning games. And you had VC2. Oh, we need to start winning games. The standings are closing on us. Well, yeah, that's a great idea. But how about you beat a bottom feeding Montreal team? Like, come on. And not make that many mental mistakes. Too much trouble getting the puck out of their own end. Yeah. 2 to 3 goals against the Rangers directly resulted because of lapses in their own end. Lucky to walk away with a point after being down 3. I agree. I think all three were because people forget too on that other goal, the third goal that happened too because of a lapse. Let's say. Yeah, I mean, we could hope they'll wake up, but they've been way too inconsistent. Yeah, it is early enough to fix the habits. So, but I just don't think it's right that people are like, you know, getting on others for being at least a bit concerned. Like, I don't like that. And then I don't like people that are like, overly negative too, where they're just like, or overly over the top dramatic with it, like, oh, this team's just never winning anything again, and like that, like there needs to be a happy medium, and I think that you know if you're concerned, fair. If you aren't concerned, you do you. But like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. But I think there's a reason to be at least you know concerned about the inconsistency. I'm not saying it's too late to develop these habits and to be better, but we need to see it. We need to see it. Yeah, Othman was quitting for Benino and Wheeler. Yep. Not too mad about this because A, we did fight to come back. B, I kind of have a soft spot for the Habs. And C, Montembeau is absolutely insane. One of the most underrated goalies in the league. Not too mad or panicking about the team, but we really need to clean up the defensive zone. The way we constantly get suffocated in our own zone and all of the turnovers is scaring me. Yeah, and rightfully so. I think that's the perfect way to, feel worried because of the fact that the defensive zone lapses keep happening. The turnovers keep happening. And I think, because the offense, I'm not as worried about the offense in terms of the way, like, the first line sucks. Like, I should say they suck, but they're underperforming way too much. They're underachieving like way too much, and there's certain guys in the forward group that just aren't good. Those problems will be addressed at the deadline, but some of these habits that we're seeing, like mistakes in their own end, need to be addressed because that's something that no matter how many deadline acquisitions you bring in, that's not going to change the fact that Jacob Trouba struggles to break the puck out of his own end. That's not going to change the fact that Adam Fox has looked sluggish since his injury. He will get back to the all-star level, but at some point it's going to have to happen. Um, and then Lindgren, he's been sloppy in his own end at points this year. Miller's been inconsistent. Like, no matter what deadline ads you make, it's not going to be an entire team change. That's just unrealistic. So you got to end up, you got to get better play. You got to get better play. Yeah, if Miller played physical, it would just help. And we've been saying that for a while. Yeah, I don't think that's a real rumor. I haven't heard of them at all. Yeah, Foss worked on that line, but like, how far did they go realistically? Realistically, with Jesper Foss, like I don't know, like, and at least he was a good fit though. Like that's the only devil's advocate I could play. At least he like was a fit. Like Andrew Kopp, we're not gonna act like he was a great hockey player, but he fit. He fit. Even if he was a passenger to Panarin, he did fit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, Logan, in the locker room. Yeah, they need to get a little more physical. They not a little more. They do need to get more physical, guys. And again, we're gonna be talking about a lot of that. I have a couple of guys are that are on my trade board list that I made that play that type of game. So you guys will be very happy to hear about that, and we'll go over all those guys. Carolina lost. That's good. Yeah, but I've been going for a very long time here, so I'm gonna wrap things up. I do appreciate all of you guys. You guys killed it with the chat tonight. A lot of frustration, I could tell. I'm very frustrated too, even though my demeanor is very calm right now. My next video, Logan, will be tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm gonna upload one of the trade deadline videos, so be on the lookout for that. I'm not sure if I have a designated time I'm gonna drop that, but turn your notifications on so you don't miss it. And you guys will see the moment that it goes up, and we're gonna cover 7. I don't know which one I'm gonna go with first. I'm either gonna go with the underrated or the depth players, but either way, you're gonna get one of those two, and we're gonna go over that tomorrow. And be on the lookout. So we'll go over 7 guys there that you guys will hopefully like. You'll give feedback, tell me how much I'm wrong and how much I'm stupid. So we'll see what happens there. But don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go, Rangers.